Why hello, welcome back to another FQ'd video. This one will be covering Escape from Tarkov and 5 budget weapons that I love to use that are also good for PvP. The first weapon that I wanted to talk about today is the MP5. You can trade it for 8 of the brown handled bars A knives that you can find them on scavs all the time, and normally I'll just get them on my scav runs. I'll just try and find like 2 or 3 per scav run, and if you're looking for them, you can get them pretty easy. Alternatively, you can buy them off the flea for like between 2 and 4,000 rubles a pop, and once you have 8 of them, you can trade them for an MP5 from Peacekeeper, and that's a trade that's available at level 1. Normally, since I'm running solo, I like to have my gun silenced, and the threaded barrel on the MP5 is super duper hard to come by, so when it is on the flea market, it's very expensive, and it's not even usually on the flea market. So what I'll normally do is just get the MP5 SD receiver instead, and as long as you have level 2 Peacekeeper, so you have to be level 10 to get all of the parts required for the MP5 SD, but as soon as you have level 2 Peacekeeper, you can do it, and that turns the MP5 into a silenced beast relatively cheaply, and especially if you did the trade, like I mentioned, you got the MP5 for free, you can get the MP5 SD for about 62,000 rubles, which is super doable. And then you can spend a little bit more money on the armor piercing ammo, or you can just use the PSTGH ammo. A lot of the time I will just like stack my mag where I'll have like, I don't know, 3 to 10 shots of like AP ammo, or the what's the new one, the FN31 ammo, or 7 and 31 ammo, and then the rest of it will just be PST, especially to where I'm like still kind of a relatively low level. So that tends to work out pretty well. The PST GZH ammo is super cheap, and it does work on scavs, and if you can hit your face shots, then you're good to go there. But if you want just a little bit of that extra penetrating bullet, then you can just get the other more expensive ones off the flea market, which they are expensive, but you can, like I said, just double stack those mags and be set to jet. So the next gun I wanted to talk about is the AKS-74U, which is available once you complete one of Prepper's early quests, and as you can see, it's available for about 29,000 rubles, but you can get it on the flea market for even cheaper. Like for example here, it's like around 18k, which is awesome. And then you can mod it, you can put a silencer on it, you don't have to, but you can see my build right here has 74 vertical recoil, which is really nice. All I did was put a rubber buttstock on the end, and then I used the SI enhanced pistol grip, and then I just put the PWS CQB compensator on it, and then a rail and a foregrip. It's not even that good of a foregrip, but it just helped with mostly just some extra ergonomics, and then your AK is good to go. Normally I'll try and rock BT ammo, which is super easy to come by, especially if you run around on reserve. If you just do like maybe like 2 scav runs on reserve, you'll probably be able to pick up enough BT ammo for like 3 runs or 4 runs, depending on how often you have to shoot. The next weapon that I'll use is the Vepr Hunter. It's around 30,000 on the flea market, and the nice thing about this weapon is that it's not super modular, so it's once you buy it, like that's pretty much what you get. Normally, see, I put like a red dot sight on it, and then I'll go with the 10 round mags. You can put a suppressor on it, but the suppressor is super, super expensive unless you have it unlocked, which I don't even know if you can buy it from a trader. So normally if I'm rocking the Vepr, I will not be silenced. But the 10 round mags are super cheap, the red dot sight is super cheap. So all in all, it's a really good budget gun. And then the M80 rounds are really, really great for really anybody. I think they'll one-shot a thorax. They do, I think, 80 flesh damage. So if you shoot somebody in the chest and it penetrates their armor, then you'll kill them. You can see it's about $2.40 a round, and it's just good. It's just all around good for players, unless they're super, super geared up and have like really, really great armor, like class 5 or class 6. You can usually be pretty confident in taking out a player with this weapon, as well as scavs or raiders or that kind of deal. The next gun I wanted to include is a sniper rifle, which you can snipe with the Vepr Hunter, but I really like the VPO rifle. Its ergonomics are a little bit on the low side. It's at 30 without a suppressor on it, and it's even lower with the suppressor. However, it is a sniper rifle, so as long as you're like in a good snipe spot, like you don't really need good ergonomics. And it can shoot the 366 AP round, which is not super expensive for what it can do. It can one-shot class 4 armor and below. The only way that somebody doesn't die if you shoot them in the chest is if they have class 5 or 6 armor on, which is really, really great, because that means that you can one-shot scavs and a good chunk of the player base. The downside with this round is that it's very slow compared to a lot of other rounds. So you have to take that into effect, as well as the VPO is not as accurate as the other sniper rifles, but it just takes a little bit of getting used to, and then you can usually hit your shots once you've played with it enough. And the accuracy is still decent. Like, it'll get that bullet where it needs to go just a little bit slower than you probably think it will. So that's pretty much the VPO, and that's like the positives and the negatives. Or it's just so cheap to run that you can buy that AP ammo pretty easily and justify it. But it's slightly less accurate, and it doesn't have like ergonomics or anything. The last gun I wanted to talk about is the Mp153 Shotgun. This thing is really quite inexpensive, around 30,000 on the flea market. So you can just buy that, and then you can put a 8-round magazine in it. And once you have level 2 Jaeger, that magazine is super, super cheap. So you can also get the 8-round magazine from scavs that have this gun, and then you can either use like the AP20 shotgun round or the 8.5 millimeter buckshot. Both of them are really great rounds. The 8.5 millimeter buckshot is pretty good at legging people. However, it's not as good as like the KS23, but it'll still get the job done. And it also does a good job at shredding armor, which is really nice, because if you can shoot somebody in the armor a couple of times, normally their armor will be shredded enough that it will go through and it will wreck them. But I would definitely advise trying to go for face shots or leg shots with that round. And that is pretty much the 153. These are all of the guns that I will run, especially if I'm trying to make a budget run where I'm thinking that I'm not really going for any players. I just might run into a couple of scavs while I'm looting and getting out. These are the guns that I'll commonly be using, and I think they're just a really great couple of underrated guns. And another nice thing is that all of them I will usually get back from insurance, with the exception of the MP5. But all of these other guns, players or player scavs, they don't really pick up, because they're just like so cheap and trashy. Once they pick it up, then they can't sell it on the flea market because you brought it into the raid. So normally they'll just leave it and you'll get them back in insurance, which is really great, and one of the reasons why I recommend using any of these weapons. Thanks for watching the video, and I will see you and some other time in another place in the next one. Thanks again.